lot of card games, which usually have a competitive scene, not usually if it's like the Lord of the Rings LCG kind of deal, will have a banned list of cards, usually because these cards tend to become way too powerful, or in one case, in the Pokemon LCGs, I find hilarious, translated wrong. So the Japanese card worked right, but the English one actually was broken because they mistranslated it. And so they need to take them out of the game. Magic actually has many different forms of play. Standard, which almost every card game has them, which usually have like certain sets that come in and out as new cards, so you keep refreshing it. Modern, EDH, Legacy, so on and so forth. You can look them up if you're curious what they mean. Pretty much, they allow certain kinds of cards depending on the set. So they have new banned cards added for each of these different sets. And this was shocking because a lot of the banned cards that were banned, really, we're going to focus on the standard ones.
Mm-hmm. I believe it's all of them behind us, but you probably can't really tell what they say, so you have to look them up yourself.
Yeah, these were, I'm pretty sure, there might have been one or two, but I think these were at least the big ones. The one that looks like eyeball and the green one are actually for the non-standard set. They were just pretty much, most people agree, pretty much gave you either too much information or just ruined, everyone had to play with that. The three on the other side, though, are the ones that are really where a lot of the talk is coming from.
Okay.
These are all from the standard set, so they're rotating. The issue that they did this before is they said they did this a week in advance because, as of this recording, we are recording on the weekend that before was the release of their new set, Aether Revolt, which I think will be released regularly this coming weekend, in which you'll see a fat pack on the back. I try to keep most recent fat packs. So they wanted to be like, before you see the new set, we want to let you know what's leaving.
Right.
One of which is, you're going to focus on the card from the Smuggler's Copter first. Mostly because, for me, this is hilarious. This came out just in the set before. Every deck had a play set of it. Like, if you weren't playing it, you weren't in the top 8.
Okay.
So a lot of people wanted and get it. My friend, in fact, bought 2 copies of it, like right before this ban list.
This is a stupid question, but is it like the kind of card you can only have one of in your deck, or would they really like put a bunch in there and build around it?
4 copies.
Okay.
Like, this was like, it almost fit into everything.
Got it.
It was part of their new vehicle mechanic. It's a great mechanic, and I think it was one of those things. The reason why it made it through was because, when you put something new and you're not sure how it's going to work, and then they didn't realize how overpowered this was.
But it's unusual for it to turn around that quickly, right?
Yes, this was really surprising. And a lot of people are angry about it because they pretty much, I think, I was talking to my brother, my friend paid, I think it was like $16 or $18 for 2 copies. They're now worth 4.
Yeah, that's a dramatic percentage decrease.
Right. So a lot of people are angry that this is such a huge switch. The next card we're going to look at is the one on the far left from what we're looking at. I don't know if it matches there.
Somewhere over there.
It is far left.
Emrakul. So this was from the last set that was supposed to be Cthulhian-like. That was supposed to be Cthulhu. So obviously they designed to be like Cthulhu, huge, big, and scary. Turns out it's huge, big, and scary. And the big problem was they made it so you're not supposed to be able to play until you got a lot of resources. Because of the set, you could play it within like one or 2 turns at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
So they're like, we can't have this anymore.
Seems bad.
Yeah. So that's why that one got banned. And the last one got banned was because I don't know if we come across this as much in the games we play. But sometimes it's very common in Magic to have decks that are sort of designed to make it so you don't get to play anything until I finish my Super Ultra Win combo. White-blue tends to shine that way. If you notice, our friend Garrett tends to like those colors in Magic. You could see in the way he plays against us. So this card was banned because apparently they need to stop this white-blue deck search, especially when they knew they're going to ban these 2. So they asked around, and apparently a lot of people said this card. So they decided to ban it. But apparently, at least according to my brother, who plays a lot more standard, a lot of people were like, they should have banned other cards. So now I'm like, this sounds a survey. But a lot of people are now really worried. The Copter is the one that really shows this more than the other 2. Because the other 2 are from older sets, like the last set in Standard, the one that's about to leave, so not as nearly. But there were like, any deck we make might be quick to leave, so scare the prices. But at the same time, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, well, let's look at someone like me, or even you, who doesn't play Magic at all. How would you feel like, I want to play Standard here? Great, you're going to need 4 copies of this $20 card, 4 copies of this,
I mean, that definitely, that kind of sucks.
And when you hear like, okay, I want to try to build a deck. What if you learned like the top 8 decks were the same thing? And let's say it wasn't your playstyle either.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, do you think there are people who just don't care about that, and they would just rather, are they mad because? Well, I understand they're mad because they. I
understand
what you just said.
and in some ways I can understand because it sort of sucks when, like my friend who just lost out on Essence $20.
Well, I guess what it is they're mad that I think from their perspective, Wizards of the Coast just shouldn't have made this card in the first place.
Yeah.
But I feel like you can't blame them for what they did to take care of it, because it sounds like they had no choice.
Right.
It's more they should have prevented this from in the first place. I guess.
No, and there's a whole new combo that came out, my brother explaining, from the new set that came out that becomes really cheap, and then which one are they going to ban then? And then that's a whole. But to me, I have to think that, well, you want Standard to be a place where people this is an interesting comment that this has been a long time ago. When playing the Standard format, 10 years ago, we'll say, we're talking about very before internet was just fledgling. It took a while for people to understand what was the good deck. So there was a lot more fun creating. Nowadays, with the internet, with almost anything, not just Magic, the best decks tend to be found very fast.
You check out Reddit the next day, and they're all going to tell you what you need.
We are very good at hive mining.
No,
not the Magic cards. But so it's very hard for them, to try to see these things in advance, I feel. Especially when you have to make, God, how many cards, I forget, come in a set.
Well, yeah, I don't envy their jobs of designing these cards, for sure.
And even then, we're looking at the big one, sure, it's banned in Standard, which sucks, but, it's not in the other formats. And it still holds that, and that idea of it's a big thing. And, the format that I still play left now is EDH, in which that's sort of fine. The whole idea is you're just throwing around big things.
It does kind of suck, but I do feel and maybe this is kind of maybe harsh to say, but if you want to play Standard, I almost feel like you have to just accept this as a fact of life, that this can happen.
Well, and I think the other big issue, and every card game has it, but Magic, because I still play it a bit, is a bit more. It's almost like 2 games now. It's actually more. It reminds me even more what's the card game? It's behind me on the wall, so I know you can see it. But it was on my top 5, the level 99 games.
Millennium Blades.
Millennium Blades, where it's almost like you're not just playing Magic the Gathering. You're playing Magic the stock market.
yeah.
Which even more so the internet has implemented. So people are angry. Because I remember hearing this, not with this card, but when Modern Masters reprinted, they reprinted a bunch of old cards. Someone complained because he's like, well, my set of 4 of this guy is going to become drop in price because they're reprinting copies of him. Right. It's almost people are insulted because they're investments.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing.
It used to be your trade binder, but this is my portfolio binder. As you can see, I have 4 Snapcaster mages, and I understand. Yes, there's investment with collectors. I collect a whole bunch of crap. I have a problem, but there comes a point you have to understand this is a game. I'm not saying in terms of the way people say it's a game you shouldn't care about as a kid, but have fun with the game in that some of the fun is actually should be switching up and changing.
They don't. The problem is they don't like the luck based. they want skill based, but then they're in the wrong game basically.
Well, no, because you stack it up in your favor.
Right. No, yeah, it is like the stock market. You don't need Millennium Blades. It's there in Magic already.
Only if you want to spend real money, though.
Yeah, that's the one difference.
Well, we were actually even joking when my brother was talking about how this new card they think is going to be on the new Smuggler Copter. It's a vehicle very similar, and we're like. And it was only for $4. I'm like, Matt, you should buy 4 copies. He's like, yeah, I should. And now I'm thinking about that's really sad. To buy, I guess for me, that's the one thing with collecting with me. I don't collect thinking I'm going to resell them. Like, all the many things I collect.
Right.
I don't keep them in their box.
Right.
I don't care if they're scratched or not. Like, honestly, for me, I like wear and tear.
Yeah, that's a
almost.
very different, a different kind of thing that I also
Yeah.
don't do.
Yeah. No, I mean,
because I like to own things forever.
no, exactly. Like, we talk about this a little bit with unrelated stuff, but it does correlate the idea,
Like a lot of people, even with regular board games, they do like their math trades and Board Game Geek trades online, where after every year they're trading games, and
I mean, that makes more sense. And
It's-
and
they're
that's
good for them.
And that's a little different because it's more like you play it once and
True,
yeah.
it's different from. It's not like you're trading like a piece from your game or something.
Right. But it's also funny because I think about how people like damage games. I know neither of us don't care too much of the box. Like, we got Mansions of Madness on an amazing deal earlier. Like, I got it for $25 just because the back was really ripped. And for me, I'm like, I'm fine with that.
right. Yeah, we're.
But it's definitely really interesting, and I'm curious to see how bands do go. And maybe this will help the entry maybe change up standard so much because people are a little more scared. Like, if they see a card become too popular, that might actually start becoming avoided. If they see like the top 8 becomes just sort of like sell that card out, you don't want to touch it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Wow, that's a whole new kind of meta game.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So yeah, if you play Magic and are watching, let us know how hurt you are by the loss of the Copter or any of these other cards.
And maybe if you see, I mean, I mentioned one combo, I didn't name the cards because I don't know them off the top of my head. It was the newest one of the Planeswalkers and this uncommon card. So it won't hurt as much if that gets banned. But if you think either of those are going to get banned, how that will affect the meta, let us know.